Okay, so I just quickly added the darker areas where the darker areas would be. Now what I'm going to do is define some of these lines, and I'm going to use my burnt sienna to do this. And you could use a finer tipped brush than what I'm using, but for this I'm going to use this one. So you just go through here and you kind of define some of these lines. And again, we're not trying to make an exact likeness of this portrait. We're just trying to do some loose lines. So some of this is still wet in spots, so some of these are going to blend with the color that's already in there, but that's okay. So as I'm doing this, see how this guy has he's squinting in the sun, so some of these lines are fine if they're not, it's not meant to make them look old, it's just meant to make the lines stand out. And I can still see the original lines that I painted in here, and that's what's helping me to define these edges. So if you start to lose some of these original lines, you may have to go in and repaint them or redarken them. That's kind of where I'm at now. I'm starting to lose them, so I want to be able to see them, especially this lip line, because if you want to get a person's lips, the definition correct so that it resembles them. About the only spot on the painting that I'm gonna on this one that I'm gonna really define to get much detail is the eye and the eyelashes, because that's what's distinct about this particular painting, is because he's squinting and you can really see his eyelashes. So I've just added some blue to this. So I really should be using a smaller brush to get these detailed lines. I'm not trying to paint every single hair, just to give the indication of these hairs. This is what I meant about when you want to get shadow to add the blue, because you don't ever want to add black. A lot of people will add black because they think the shadows are dark enough that they need black, but you don't. You'd want to just add some blue. And the Prussian blue is a good color for that. I'm working sideways. And again, that little right here on the top of the lip is important, and then again the eyes to get. So don't forget your little lip lines to give the not wrinkles, but just the definition of the lips. So. Okay, so as you work, just remember to keep adding, darkening these lines so that you don't lose them as you're working. And I'm going to keep working on this one a little bit to try to define some of these shadows and to make it more similar to this original picture. And when you're just beginning, try not to focus so much on the exact colors. That will come with time, but for now just try to focus on where are the darkest shadows, the medium shadows, and the brightness. And in this picture, it really doesn't, his eyes aren't defined, but for the sake of the portrait, I did define the eyes. So I'm going to switch back to my larger brush, and you can see that my flesh color has really started to become green and started to muddy up a little bit. So I'm going to create a fresh little bin or pile of flesh color and then continue working. So I just continued to work in the same manner that I've been working, and I added shadows and um, tried to define, keep the definitions where I wanted them, which is this shadow under the nose, the nostril, the mouth, and some of the details in the eyes. And I realized, I could leave it like this, or I could get my smaller brush, my detail brush, and start working on some of the wrinkles and the eyelashes and the highlights. So that's what I'm going to do now. I just got my detail or highlighter brush, and I'm going to work on, I think, the eyes now. So I just get it wet and I get this color that's my definition color. Again, instead of using black, you want to use your burnt sienna and the blue and darken it up, and it'll make an almost purpley dark color. So add these definitions where you want them. Add just a few lash lines is all you need, just to give the indication of lashes. You don't need to worry about every single lash or detail. So just put a few here on this eye that's looking off in the distance. You want to think about how you're doing the lash lines and the directions that the lashes are going. He's looking um, this way, so his lash lines are going to be coming out in this manner. They're not going to be coming straight up. And then for the eyebrow, I'm just going to add a few lines that give the indication of eyebrows. He's got bushy eyebrows, so there's going to be quite a few there. And just redefining this nostril again, because the nostril is quite dark. The inside of the nostril is quite dark. So if you darken that up, that'll give that a little definition. Darken up the line between the lips. Sometimes just like one little line like that will define things. You don't need to outline everything. That's quite a definite shadow under the nose. So about the only thing left is put in a few of these wrinkle lines. If you put too many in, the more you put in, it's going to age him. It's going to look old. So you don't want to put too many unless it's an older person. He's got a bit of a beard going on. So to get the indication of stubbles, just with your little brush, a few little lines to indicate beard growth. Put a few coming off here. And pay attention to the direction of the stubble too. Underneath his chin, he's got some. wrinkles up here. And that's why you did those lines in the beginning, so that you get the most important wrinkle lines and shadow lines. So when you're all done, about the only thing left are some highlights. So you want to take your pure white. I clean the brush, take some pure white, and you can add a few little highlights right maybe to the top of the lip. Again, don't outline, just add a few to the places, maybe a few to define places like that. Always add at least one right up here in the eye to give that the indication, of moisture, that the eye's wet. I'm not going to fill in the white part of his eye, but just add a little bit in there, and that will get indication of clearness or whiteness to the eye. A good way to, if you got these too dark, you can, the brightest spots on his face, you can always go over it with a little bit of the white too. The bottom lip is bigger, fatter than the top lip. So adding some white on there will give that the puffiness and the roundness that you need on the bottom. So I hope you've learned a little bit and enjoyed this lesson on painting the various skin tones, how to get an accurate sketch on the portrait, and just have fun with it. I think this lesson will help you to understand that you don't need to have an exact defined line when you're just starting out. A lot of people really enjoy these type of paintings because they just look looser, freer, and I think you'll have a lot more fun if you don't worry so much about getting the likeness exact, but rather give the indication of the likeness.